Cooler weather brings the need to grab your stew pot. And don't look now, Ethel, but I'm using a mix. Welcome to Help at Home, your resource for great recipes and easy learning. I'm Jim Hightower. Today, we're making delicious hamburger stew just for you. In my very own cookbook, go back and watch that video, of course, I just kept a package of the stew mix because it has a recipe on the back, and I've adapted it to suit my needs because that's what I do and that's what you should do. And then you take notes, like I did, and you put them in your very own cookbook. Grab your pen and paper, here come the ingredients. You'll need 2 packages of McCormick beef stew mix, about $1 a piece, and 2 to 3 packages of Pioneer brown gravy mix to thicken it up. Also, about the same price. You'll need 1 regular sized package of baby carrots. You'll need 1 head or 1 bunch of celery cut into rough chopped pieces. If you make it a head, put it in water. It just helps. And about 3 oversized potatoes cut into cubes. Again, if you do this ahead of time, leave it in water because you know potatoes will get rusty and ugly. And also 2 pounds of browned hamburger meat, aka ground meat. 8 cups of water. Gear-wise, this is a 6.5 quart Tramontina pot, which is called 2 things. It's called enameled iron because it's just like a cast iron pan, except it's enamel, so it's pretty, and it has a nice coating inside. It's also called a Dutch oven in America, and I'm not sure what they call it across the pond. So let it heat up. Go ahead and pour in, this is 4 cups of water. This is the other 4 cups. Take your ground meat. And also be sure that when you're cooking your ground meat, that you season it just the way that you would like it. Yes, the stew mix has seasoning in it, but you want it to taste like you made it, not like McCormick made it. And that's the deal about changing recipes. You want them to be you, not someone else. When I was preparing to do this, the old housewife visited me, and she said, well, you have to cook the vegetables by themselves for about 45 minutes before you put the potatoes in, or they'll just go to mush. Well, that's flippin' flopper, because in my test of perfecting this recipe, I discovered that if I cook the vegetables separate from putting the potatoes in, which are vegetables, of course, it took me 1.5 hours. And this isn't a crock pot, baby. So, put everything in at once. There's baby carrots. Now, this package says that it's washed and ready to use. I'm okay with that. If you're kind of an anal Annie like some people in my family, then you may wash them again. In go the potatoes that I did drain from the water. Now, look at all that goodness. Just nice and hearty, and it's gonna be great. This next part is the kind of thing that kids love to do. They love to help tear it and just pour in both packages of your stew meat. Mix. Give it a nice stir. All you have to do now is bring this to a boil and then turn it down to a slow simmer. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, we got ourselves a bowl. Now, I don't know if you can see it, so vlogger style. Let's come down here. And because this is such a heavy pot, it doesn't boil real big, but you see those bubbles. Now, what we need to do is give it a nice stir. And if you're using a regular aluminum pot or stainless steel or something, yours is liable to boil bigger and faster. Now, you want to turn this down to where it's just a low boil. I mean, low simmer, not really a boil because you'll tear up your potatoes. A cream of potato soup, which is never really nice. You do need to cover it And you'll set your timer for about 30 minutes. I'm sure you could go 45, but you want to double check and make sure you're not tearing up those potatoes. And for your first time, you need to set it really low. You might even go to like low or on my big stove, like 2 or 3, and then check it every 5 minutes till you hit that simmer. Because if you have it boiling for 30 minutes, your potatoes are going to be goners. So we'll be back in about 30 to 45 minutes to check this and see if all the vegetables are tender. And it's just that easy. Now you can go and play. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, we have got our potatoes and our vegetables tender, and let's take a look. That was 40 minutes, and even though I know my stove takes that amount of time, I still find myself being a nervous Nelly and really watching that boil carefully. Because it's not a boil, is it? You want a little bubble action, but not a full boil. There you go. Now that things are tender, it's time to put in your gravy mix. And what you do is you start with 2 of them. Then you just stir it in. Now right away, you'll notice the color getting darker. And the smell is just yummo. So you get this mixed in. Love these ladles, they're very handy. I'll let you see this. I'm getting wet. Now let's try this another way. That's just a little bit thin for our taste. So I am going to go ahead and put this 3rd package of gravy mix in, and that will absolutely do it. And not only does this gravy mix help to thicken things up, but it just adds a new level of flavor to it. At this point, you want to turn off your heat, and it will continue to cook a little because it's so hot. Storage tips. You must let this cool off to at least room temperature before you put it in the refrigerator. If you don't, it will sour. If you take this lid, put it on now, put it in the refrigerator, and come back for dinner, it's gone. You've killed it. So, when you make it, if you're not going to use it right away, you're just going to have to let it sit out. And just like on any mix that you make, it will thicken as it cools. That's just yummo. Look at that. And of course I have to taste it. Super yummo. And I did get a little wah down there, but it was worth it. You don't need to add any extra seasonings to this. So, there you go. Although I often wondered what it would be like to crush a little fresh garlic and put in there. Mwah. When it gets cold, you can always stay warm at home with a nice big pot of stew to get you through the night. And you can always make some cornbread to go with it. My wife likes to crumble up the cornbread into her bowl, mix it up. Yummo! And it's healthy too with all the vegetables. If you like this recipe for delicious homemade hamburger stew and you didn't have to spend a bundle on expensive stew meats, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe and share with your friends who like to cook or just want to learn how. Drop me a line in the comments below about your experiences with this delicious homemade stew and what else you'd like to see in the kitchen. If you've got holiday favorites, send them to me now in the comments below, or check at the bottom of my description for my email. I want to see these great holiday favorites. I'd love to make them. And if I do, I'll give you a shout out. Click the bell in the top right hand corner for notifications. I'm Jim Hightower. And remember, everyone needs help, even me. Welcome to Help at Home, your resource for great... I need to smile. Boy, this is a great one, isn't it? Huh? I'm a nut. Your potatoes here. And of course, I have to taste it.